Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to this spoiler discussion for The Batman. So, I thought I was going to go and watch it at 5 o'clock. Went there, got my vaccine passport scanned. But then they threw a doozy at me and said they needed ID. I didn't have ID, so I had to go back, get my ID, and start watching it from 6 instead of 5. That's why I'm a bit late. But it was well worth going to watch the theatrical version of The Batman. So what we're going to do tonight, you're going to hit me with points of view. Tell me what you think. And we'll talk about it. We'll have a proper spoiler discussion. If you don't want spoilers for The Batman, leave. It's the easiest thing. I am planning on doing a proper pre-recorded spoiler review at some point. I might go back and watch it tomorrow. But I really like this film. Now, if you're going into this film to actually see an action-packed, mindless Batman fighting a supervillain in the third act, you're going to be very disappointed. But if you're coming in to see something, clever, and see the greatest detective, like Batman started off in the comics, then you're going to see something incredibly special. There's no one actually in the chat, but just in case someone goes back and watches it later on, I'm going to keep on talking. So I should just wait for people to come in. Let's see if anyone does come in, and we can get this spoiler discussion going. But, I found the second viewing even better than the first. This is an excellent movie. And, it's not a case of saying it's the best Batman film ever. It's not a case of saying that this is the way you should do it. But it's an excellent way of doing it. And in terms of action in this film, the action in this film is like a token gesture. It's not really Matt's priority. Matt wants to tell a story in this film, and he really does that. I don't understand critics not liking the third act. The third act throws so many twists, so many revelations, and I love that about it. Bonesaw is coming. The Batman is a masterpiece. Yes, The Batman is a masterpiece. It's a brilliant film. And the soundtrack is amazing. Michael Giacchino's music really sets the tempo for this film. So this film wasn't made for general audiences, really. This film was made by a stan for stans. And that's why we're hearing so many Batman stans so pleased, because this is the first time a Batman film has been made for Batman stans. And I love the other films. This is not about doing down the other films. I mean, even kind of if you think about the Dark Knight trilogy, loads of action. Loads of action. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things about Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. That it's this, it's gritty, it's dark, but it's also got a lot of action in it. So this film is kind of doesn't prioritize action. It prioritizes the story, the tempo. This really is a drama, a detective drama thriller. In a lot of ways, it's like, I suppose, an HBO Max, pilot episode in a way. The way it sets up all the players and it sets up a story. And I think, it's brilliant. And there's a theme here. I always wondered before I saw it what the whole vengeance thing was about, because that's not really who Batman is. But there's a reason they do the vengeance thing. That I really, really enjoyed. So, and he learns a lesson. The Legend CJ, do we talk in order about it, or how do you want to do it? You can talk to me about anything from the film, and I'll respond. So we don't have to start from the beginning. Although the beginning was great, the narration was great. Bonesaw is coming. What are your thoughts on the Joker? I don't really have much thoughts on him. I wasn't that impressed, to be honest, and I hated his laugh. But to be fair, he did have a lot of dialogue there, didn't he? More dialogue than I thought he'd get, and I liked the dialogue. But the laugh Nah. It's too ordinary. It's too much of a basic laugh. Bonesaw is coming. Love the conversation between the Riddler and Joker. Yes, that's great. I love that. Typical Joker. Typical Joker. And Matt Reeves fixed the superhero mistake. In Batman 89, they killed the Joker. Big mistake. In Man of Steel, they kill off Zod. But Riddler survives to fight another day. And I love that because I want to see more of this Riddler. A lot of people say he's not a traditional Riddler. Actually, in a lot of ways, he is. Not the serial killer element. The way he moves about, when he smiles a bit. He felt like the Riddler to me. He doesn't look like the Riddler, but some elements did feel like the Riddler. Isaac makes edits. Is there a Robin? No. And if you're looking for a Bat family to be put together, I'd focus on the DCEU. I don't think that's Matt's priority, but I could be wrong. The Legend CJ, I love the fact that the end was very biblical. Riddler succeeded flooding Gotham and washed everything away. Yes, he succeeded, right? The only thing that didn't go his way, he thought Batman was going to be there with him. But I must say, if we go to the end of the movie, I like the fact that Batman jumps off, goes kind of right to the bottom of Gotham and saves those people. And the narration, he talks about how him being vengeance was wrong. Ultimately, him calling himself Vengeance motivated what the Riddler does. So that's what motivates him to kind of, in a way, become Batman in the future. So I love that. And that has some critics says it doesn't have a proper ending, but it does. It does. The third act is brilliant. And I really want to unpackage the Selina Kyle revelations. I loved what they did with her because they really made her part of this story. And instead of her just being the female who's just there to kiss Batman, she has a link now. And the link was brilliant. We could talk about that. The whole connection between her and Falcone. Wow, wow, wow. I really liked that. I didn't see that coming. Critics again saying there were predictable twists. Well, maybe I'm a thicko. I didn't see them coming. So Selina was great. And Jeffrey Wright, fucking hell. Critics underplayed what he did as well. Bonesaw is coming. People are saying about the Riddler that he isn't the Riddler. I disagree. We know just because he doesn't wear the green suit. But in fact, Matt gave us a Riddler straight from the comics. He's truly a psychopath. Yes. And he acts. He acts like the Riddler, the way he moves about. That reminded me of Frank Gosling from the original 60s series, actually, sometimes in his body movement. The Legend CJ, I think Dick Grayson will appear in this trilogy at some point. Selina mentions Bloodhaven, where Nightwing goes after becoming Robin. Well, do you know what? You know that that black kid at the beginning when Batman beats all those thugs, and that black kid doesn't really seem to be part of it. He doesn't really he seems kind of innocent. Maybe that's Robin. Maybe that's Robin. It wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. You know that bit? Who are you supposed to be? I'm Vengeance. But I'm very, very pleased with this film. I was pleased when I saw the test screening, but I'm even more pleased now seeing it again. Because I was kind of relieved that I was going to come out and do a spoiler discussion because I haven't enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed it. Lots of accusations, this, that, the other. This is what happens when you're on the internet. Isaac makes edits. Isn't he already Robin? No. Who? There isn't actually officially a Robin in the movie. The Legend CJ, the orphan kid would be a perfect Robin. The black kid from the beginning is Tim Drake in Titans. Oh, is that who he is? Because I don't watch a lot of Titans. I know Ronnie Dodge was asking me this yesterday, and I was kind of, who is he talking about? But, oh, right. So maybe, I don't know, he could be playing a version of Robin. That's all I'm going to say. It seemed like a very, very big meeting between two characters to me, a beginning. This film is the beginning. Right, everything is going to evolve in the end. Isaac makes edits, yeah, at the Legend CJ. I mean, I have watched Titans, but I didn't remember him. But I haven't seen all the seasons of Titans, by the way. I'm a terrible DC fan. He did look familiar, though. He did look familiar. So hit me with the discussions that you want to have. We're having a spoiler discussion here. So if anyone's in here who doesn't want spoilers, you shouldn't be in here. Because it's time to talk spoilers. You know, the film's released today in Cyprus. Many people have had the opportunity to already see it. And I've put it's a spoiler discussion so people can just avoid it, can't they? There's no issues about talking spoilers. Don't worry about talking spoilers. I'm the captain of this ship. Isaac makes edits. Does that kid play any important significance in the movie apart from when we see him at the beginning of the movie? No. Bonesaw is coming. I'm convinced the Riddler will be back for his revenge after seeing the after credits scene. What do you think? Yeah. When you're not killed off and you're so significant, you'll be back. The Legend CJ, a lot of people thought the prisoner in Arkham was Two-Face because of the messed up face. But I know it's the Joker since Harvey Dent will become the new district attorney since the last one died. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like he's the Joker. As I say, I wasn't overly impressed with the laugh. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to silvercoat my opinion there. I wish he was Harvey Dent. I wish he was Two-Face. But I'm not going to say he's going to be a bad Joker because we've got to give the guy a chance. Interesting that Nolan hinted for the Joker at the end of Batman Begins, and we had obviously a Joker cameo at the end of the Batman. So did you like Selina Kyle? Did you like the revelations about Selina Kyle? I really like that element. Isaac makes edits. How was the Joker? Well, you don't get much of him. He had some great dialogue. Didn't like his laugh. So it's really difficult to have an impression of just seeing that. I think it's unfair for me to say, oh, he's great. Oh, he's bad. It's difficult at this point. But we're obviously going to see him in the second movie. I do think the second Batman, the Batman movie, is an Arkham movie. That's what I think. The Legend CJ, I really like the fact she's Falcone's daughter. Makes sense. Yeah. Fucking hell, what a twist. What a fucking twist. I loved it. And I loved the fact that he was literally behind everything. Isaac makes edits. How can you tell it's the Joker? Well, the laugh. I mean, it could be one of those things that turns out to be something totally different, but it's unlikely. I'm not happy with the brother of the actor, though, for leaking that in the first place. I thought that was pathetic. Clearly, they wanted him to leak it to get some investment involved, but no, I was never happy about that. Like, never. I mean, that would have been a huge reveal if we didn't know about it. It's not right. And this is the problem these days with the internet. Obviously, a bigger reveal would have been Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which I would have been very happy about. But not to be. Bonesaw is coming. Joker's face didn't had clear shot, but from what I could see, his face looked really messed up. Yeah, it was not a clear shot. The Legend CJ, who do you think the sequel villains will be? Well, I think we're heading for a movie totally set in Arkham Asylum with quite a few villains. I think they'll expand the Rogues Gallery. Isaac makes edits. Really? How so? Bonesaw is coming. John, have you managed to see a second time? Yes, I saw it tonight for a second time, John. And I had such a great experience, such a great experience. Bonesaw is coming, the scars. I mean, imagine if it turns out not being the Joker, how pissed off everyone's going to be. So it has to be the Joker. You don't do that and then pull it away, do you? It has to be. I'm not overly excited about the Joker, by the way. It's just my opinion. But I love the movie and I love everything that Matt did in the movie. Isaac makes edits. Oh, yeah, you ready for the Manchester derby? Not really, no. But I wouldn't put it past United to actually win this one. We'll see. The Legend CJ, I love the beginning sequence where they made Batman feel like a horror villain. The way criminals are scared of him, just like the comics. Yeah. And I think this is an important thing and it's an important lesson kind of Bruce learns by the end of the movie. Yes, it's good that villains are afraid of him, but the people should never be afraid of him and he should always give them hope. And that's kind of the direction the narration went at the end, and I liked that. Oh, it was great. Hashlin, me, Joker and Riddler to be teamed up on upcoming movie. Yes, it's looking that way, isn't it? Isaac makes edits. I don't think the Riddler will be too involved. Well, it depends. My theory is that we're getting an Arkham movie for the sequel, so let's see. Isaac makes edits for the sequel. I think if they didn't want him involved, they would have killed him off. And I think the fact that he's still alive means he'll be involved. John, have you seen the Batgirl set videos on Twitter? I have. Very exciting. The design for the villain is great. And I couldn't keep my eyes off Rob in the costume in the film. It's so compelling. The eyes, the way he moves. The Legend CJ, Court of Owls will be perfect in this franchise. They're already explaining the corruption of the wealthy in Gotham. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things they can do. I've said this before. They can't just throw everything at it straight away. So the second movie will be interesting. If Matt comes out with the title Batman Arkham, because obviously in the film there was this revelation about the Waynes and the Arkhams. I didn't even know the Arkham was a family name. So that was pretty cool. Isaac makes edits. Were there any hints towards the Court of Owls in the movie? I didn't see any. I don't know if anyone else did. Bonesaw is coming. After seeing Colin Farrell as the Penguin, I can't wait to see him in his own show. It's going to be great. He's pretty much designed on Robert De Niro. But he was great. Yeah, he was really, really good. That is who the Penguin is. He was great. And I think the whole idea is to show in the prequel his rise to power. So that's a whole series on him. It's a captivating movie. It certainly is. I mean, it's very different. It's, you know, I would say to the critics who didn't like it, you obviously went in expecting a typical Batman movie, and no one told you that. I mean, Matt's been trying to explain what this movie is, you know, for months now. So it should be pretty obvious to everyone. And you shouldn't do a film down, vote a film down just because it isn't what you expected it to be, or what you wanted it to be, or what you thought it was going to be. Isaac makes edits. Will the Penguin meet the Joker in his show? Well, that's a good one, isn't it? I hope so, but who knows? I think the idea is not to cross over too many characters, but obviously you'd have to have some of them there. And it'd be interesting where that's set. Is that going to be set in year one, like Gotham PD? So I don't know what they're going to do with that. It could be Gotham year zero. I loved Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon, and I loved Andy Serkis as Alfred. A lot of people said, oh, he's not in the movie a lot, but I thought he was in the movie for the just right amount of time. I love the scene in the hospital. I love how he says to Bruce, you know, your father was a good man. He made a mistake. I'm glad that Reeves didn't make the Waynes these evil people, and ultimately, they're still the good people they've always been. Isaac makes edits. What if for the second movie, the Joker and the Riddler set free the Arkham inmates? Well, how about if it's all set in Arkham and Batman's trapped in Arkham as well, and at the end of the movie, all the villains are freed and they can roam free in Gotham. And that could be great setup for a third movie. So that could be a thing. The Legend CJ, did you notice each of the Riddler cards contains a reference to a different Batman villain? Yeah, very clever, wasn't it? Isaac makes edits. That's a good take. Didn't think of that. The Legend CJ, first one Court of Owls, second was a mad scientist. I'm losing it. Where are we? Isaac makes edits, but how can Batman get trapped in Arkham though? Isaac makes edits. I have no idea how it can happen, but these things can happen. You put pen to paper and you make it work. John, I think we will see John Turturro in the Penguin HBO show. Yeah, because it's a prequel. Ashley May, the first Riddler from Riddler was Letter with Picture of Owl on it. There's that, a hint about Court of Owls, maybe. Bonesaw is coming. When Matt said that the Batman is going to be a mix of The Long Halloween and Earth One, he literally meant that. Yes, he certainly did. And I think the way we start off and the way they reveal things in the third act was really good. I don't see how people didn't like the third act. I'm mystified by that. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was great. And I didn't see that coming when he explodes Gotham and it's flooding. I thought that was great. I don't really get what the consequences of that flooding will be. Will there be consequences going forward? I'm not sure about that. The Legend CJ, Superman would fit so perfectly in this world. Matt Reeves' Superman certainly would. It would be interesting. I read an article apparently that Christopher Reeve wanted to cameo in Batman 89 and they said no. Isaac makes edits. I wonder how Joker got thrown into Arkham in the first place. Maybe in the Penguin prequel, they'll hint at that. Maybe, yeah. I think he'll tie a few things together. But Bonesaw is coming. Didn't you also have the feeling that the movie has a lot of vibes of the Arkham games? Yes, and that's why I believe. Also, Matt talking about Gotham PD being, very, very relevant towards Arkham, that I feel that the second movie could be set in Arkham. Believe you me, if he comes out and says the sequel's Batman Arkham, people are going to go fucking get very excited. Ronnie Dodge, hey Mick, seeing the movie tomorrow, saw the Joker scene, loved Barry's laugh. Do you know what? I wasn't overwhelmed by his laugh, but as I've said to everyone tonight, I'm going to give it a chance. I don't know what he's going to be like in the future. It'll be interesting. Maybe Barry Coogan is going to get a Joker HBO Max show. I'd really enjoy that. But this is a really different take on a comic book movie, on a CBM. And as I say, because it's in a pocket universe on another Earth, that's fine. This wasn't made for the mainstream. This wasn't made for the mainstream. This is the first time Batman fans have had a Batman movie made for them. And that's not saying bad things about the other movies, which I adore. I mean, even Batman and Robin, I can say it entertained me and I had fun with it. Ronnie Dodge, could we see Barry in the Arkham series? Yes, that would be Gotham PD. So maybe. I think he'll turn up. Isaac makes edits. If that wasn't Joker, who else could it be? Well, I mean, I can only think of Harvey Two-Face, and I think maybe they'd want to explain him. I don't know what's the problem is now with Harvey is we've had a great Harvey in The Dark Knight. So do you go straight with him? I mean, he's an important and integral part of that world. So you'd think they'd want to introduce him. The Legend CJ, did you notice the substance that Batman injected himself with at the end to give him more strength when Selina almost died? Yes, I did notice that. It looked a lot like Venom. Yes, that's a good point. Maybe it's a hint at Bane. What if they do something different with Bane? And actually, because Bruce has injected it in him, what if he starts becoming Bane? What if he can't control it? I know it's a crazy idea, but this is Matt Reeves' kind of strange universe, isn't it? It's like Strange New Worlds or something. But I did notice that. But I didn't click on about Venom. But yeah, good point. This is why we're having this conversation. Many ideas. So I'm really enjoying this spoiler chat. I'll carry on until people get bored. But I'm very, very enthused by this film. Very brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It's, you know, Ronnie Dodge, maybe the villains in the Batman sequel could be Joker and Mr. Freeze. Yeah, I mean, I think Freeze will show up. And I'm just not sure if they're going to deal with one villain or if, you know, Batman's stuck in Arkham. That could be, because Matt's already it's interesting. It's like Matt set this film up mostly for the spin-off prequels more than anything. It's interesting. He's setting the Rogues Gallery up. Isaac makes sense. You need to be hired into Matt Reeves' storyboard, Mick. Oh, I'd love that. Just to be around Matt and talk to Matt would be a pleasure. The Legend CJ, how did the people react in your theatres? There was a lot of cheering and chanting, by the way. A lot. And there was lots of oohs and ahs. So they were they were an unconventional audience, but I loved it. People always say that Marvel movies get all the cheers, but this film really had a lot of cheers. And the person who got the most cheers was Colin Farrell's Penguin. Wow, people loved him. And there was a lot of cheers during the chase scene, which is outstanding, by the way. Seeing it in IMAX is just a different experience because there isn't a lot, really, is there, in the film? There's not a lot of action in the film. The Legend CJ, the way they introduced the Batmobile was extraordinary. Yeah, because in the early stage, you noticed he had the cover on purposely. They didn't want us to see it. The way they introduced it was great. And I love the fucking blue fire that comes out of the exhaust. It's really cool. Ronnie Dodger, I'm interested where Selina Kyle goes in the future. After what I read, what happens. Ronnie, this is a spoiler chat, by the way. So if you stay here, you are going to get spoiled. There was big revelations about Selina Kyle in the movie linked to the criminal underworld. And I'm not going to go further if you don't want me to say anything. But I think she may be seduced into that world eventually. It's interesting where they go with her. Because I'm thinking if you give her that background, you know. But I liked her. I really liked her. Some critics said that she didn't have that great aura about her. But I actually really liked her. And again, people were saying, oh, you know, Michelle Pfeiffer's still my favourite. And that's okay. But again, she's uncomparable to that version. Ronnie Dodge, okay, mate, I'm going to go. Are you live tomorrow, Lo? Of course. Live every night. And we can have a fun discussion, Ronnie. Trill J, I've seen the movie. In my opinion, the best Batman movie. Yeah, do you know what? I don't know what to say about that, about the best or this or that at this moment in time, because I appreciate them all. But what I would say is it's unique. And as I said on the top of the show when no one was here, I said, if you're going in to watch a mindless brawl between Batman and the Riddler, you'll be disappointed. If you want to see an intelligent detective, you know, drama thriller that is kind of a psychological battle between villain and hero, you're going to be very pleased. And I just love the themes that were put in this film. It was done in a very unconventional way, but it worked for me. It was like a 1940s detective drama in the first act, which I really enjoyed. Bouncer is coming. Not sure if Matt was inspired by Scott Snyder, but at the end of the movie, when Gotham is underwater, that's from Scott Snyder's Batman 0 Years Story. Do you know what? Who wouldn't be admired by Scott? Scott's not only a very talented writer, but he's also a gentleman. I really got a lot of time for Scott. Henrik, movie Stevie Mann, can I stay here watching the film tomorrow? well, you can stay here, but you're going to be spoiled. This is a spoiler chat. That it doesn't matter to me if you haven't seen the film, if you want to be spoiled. That's fine. Henrik, I'll be back after tomorrow. Okay, Henrik, nice to see you. Hashtag me. When Matt Reeves presented whole cast of the Batman in the world premiere, he mentioned Barry, but he didn't show up, and Colin came out instead. Barry already started his trolling behavior of his Joker. Yeah. Henrik, see you. See you later, Henrik. Only 2 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Am I doing something wrong? Have I upset you? Don't you like the shirt? But the film is emotionally draining. I feel quite tired after watching it, and for all the right reasons. That's how I felt after Batman versus Superman, emotionally drained. And I love Batman versus Superman. I think you can love everything. I genuinely think you can love everything, and don't have to say that's rubbish and that's better. Bonesaw is coming. 3 likes. Thank you, my friend. Likes are very difficult. Obviously, I'm not a big YouTuber. Isaac Makes Edits. I'm going to see the movie tomorrow. Can't wait. No, you're going to enjoy it. It's great. It really is. I look, both times I saw it, the first time was a sensational experience. And I did the video saying I'd seen it, and I never expected such a big reaction to that. A lot of people came into the channel and subscribed, and I couldn't believe that because I thought I couldn't keep that to myself. But I didn't realize the consequences of telling everyone that I'd seen it. Trill J, you can love everything. I just hate the people hating because they don't like Robert Pattinson. Well, do you know what, Trill? Here's the thing about it. I mean, I don't see how you can't like Rob in this movie. I mean, Rob's great. Rob's always been great. Even in Twilight, Rob's always been great. Bonesaw is coming, seeing the movie this Saturday for the 2nd time. Already bought the tickets. Trill J, in my opinion, this Batman is the ultimate detective, which he was in the early days of the comics. That's why they've done it. But you go from the detective drama and it evolves through the movie. The Legend CJ, I really like the fact that the Riddler used the social media to show the corruption in Gotham, and also the way people follow him is scary because it feels like this can happen in real life. I think it actually does happen in real life in a sense. I mean, the Riddler army I thought was fucking awesome. I don't know what you thought about that. But the moment I laughed is when one of his soldiers was unmasked and someone goes to him, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Vengeance." And you can see in Rob's eyes, in Bruce Wayne's Batman's reaction, shit, this is not what I wanted. Isaac Makes Edits. I doubt this is true, but I kept seeing on Twitter about a gay Robin appearing in the movie. Maybe in your version you'll see it. Trill J, bro, that rat scene was, oh my fucking God. Yeah. There was lots of things you wouldn't normally see in a film of this type. But Matt made the film that he wanted to make, and that's so important. But he wanted us to enjoy it. And I think the love he's getting back from that is great. I found it weird when Batman cut the rope or whatever it was and fell into the water. It's the only thing I did not like. Did you feel when you saw that, you thought, why did he do that? What was the motivation? I mean, I can only assume he knew where he was going. I didn't get that at first, I must admit. It's not that I didn't like it, I just didn't get it. Trill J, we did get Joker though. It looks like it. Trill J, I liked it because he has to show he is a hero. Yes, he starts as Vengeance and he evolves into the hero. He learns his lesson because he has motivated the Riddler. He's motivated this by calling himself Vengeance. And I think that's great from Matt Reeves. It's an evolution in a film, right? This guy saw his parents killed. There's no smiling. There's no smiling when you see your parents killed in front of you. There's no gags that can cover that. This is the kind of movie you make about a guy who saw his parents killed as a kid. Isaac Makes Edits. Were there any Easter eggs throughout the film, Mick? Do you know what? I'm shit with Easter eggs. Someone tell me, and I'll probably remember them, but I'm so shit with things like that. I don't notice little details. The Legend CJ, I watched it with my friend who a Marvel fan was, and they even said this is the most accurate depiction of a comic book come to life. Yes, definitely. Trill J, yeah. Trill J, Hush, yeah. Actually, yeah, there was a Hush bit, weren't there? Trill J, Joker. Yeah, even I noticed the Joker. Trill J, Arkham Asylum. The stuff they did with Arkham as well. The way they used the Arkham name, I thought was very clever. And it's interesting, we were led to believe, really, that the huge revelations would be about the Waynes, but the bigger revelations were about Selina Kyle's lineage, which I thought was very clever. I didn't see that coming. And I like that because it brings her into, it gives us something. It gives us something to do. Ashton me, hey Mick, after seeing the Batman, John Campis seems loving it. What do you think? Well, you know, sometimes John does surprise me because he loves Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel, but yes, sometimes he actually has a logical reaction, which is great. I think the guy probably is a genuine movie fan, but because when you become that successful, sometimes you become an arsehole at times. But I'm glad that John liked the movie because it truly is a great movie. I think if you know the comics, but I'm hearing a lot of mainstream fans saying they love it. That's kind of surprised me. Derpy Gaming, the film was awesome. Yes, it's really great to have this community here. And I really love the fact that you all love the movie and you get the movie. And for the stands out there, because I'm not a Batman stan, but it's just so nice that a movie's been made for you lot. And I'm so happy for you. The Batcave opening was a fire as F. Also, the film was shot in some ultra-realistic camera view. Yeah. The Legend CJ, you know this movie is great when critics are nitpicking small things. It just shows how much DC films are set a high standard than Marvel movies. They are. I think Man of Steel is at a higher standard. I think BVS is at a higher standard. I think Wonder Woman is at a higher standard. I think the Snyder Cut is at a higher standard. I think the Batman is at a higher standard, right? I think Batman 89 is at a higher standard. I think Batman Returns is at a higher standard. The Joker movie is in a much higher standard. There's no arguing that. Derpy Gaming, you have to read or watch Year One. Yeah, do you know what? I really do want to get into these comics now because I admire comics, but I'm not really a comic reader, which is a shame considering I love these characters so much. I mean, Batman is a sensational character. I'm proud of all the takes that have happened. I mean, really, in a way, the Batman kind of feels like it's continuing from the finale of Gotham in a way. I thought Gotham did a great job. I think that's the only thing that's a little bit similar to what Matt was doing here. Derpy Gaming, I would say you have to be familiar with a lot of Batman storylines because they bring elements from it into this film. Do you know what? Because I'm not familiar with the comics, I still kind of got everything. Because I talk to so many nerds, I get it anyway. Hashling me, the Batman is coming of age from symbol of fear to symbol of hope. Yes, I love that element of the film. Trill J, I think this is also the most intimidating Batman has been. Hearing those boots was sinister as hell. Yeah, I love that and how slowly he walks. The Legend CJ, I think the eye contact technology he has actually exists. That was great. That was really great. You couldn't kind of see Batman doing something like that. Bonesaw is coming. You think Robert will wear an upgraded Batsuit in the next Batman movie? Yes, I think there's going to be an evolution with the Batmobile, with the costume. In a way, it's a shame because I like that costume. But I think it's going to be an evolutionary thing. And I suppose it's a bit like the TARDIS in Doctor Who when they kind of upgrade the style of it. So I think it's exciting because, yes, I think this will evolve. Derpy Gaming, mostly Year One, Long Halloween, and Year Zero. I think definitely one of those spin-offs could be Year Zero. Trill J, you'll think there will be a cut with more action? No. Action was never the man's priority here. And I even think the action we got in the movie was a token gesture because he knows it. You need to have some action in it. This film wasn't about action. I don't think this film needed action. The action was through the psychological thriller, the detective element, the emotional element. That's where I got the excitement. You can have movies like that, and that's okay. The Legend CJ, I love the fact when he was jumping from the police station, he seemed nervous, a really learning experience. Yes, I noticed that. Do you think eventually he will glide with his cape? Maybe, yeah. I think maybe Matt's a bit more going at this practically, so maybe he won't do that, but who knows? True J, this is also my favourite Bruce Wayne. He's a great Bruce Wayne. And even though we don't see Bruce as much as Batman, Bruce is in there. You feel Bruce is there. It's not just Batman, which is great. I couldn't stop looking at the costume. I couldn't stop looking in his eyes. I thought, wow, this is Batman. I loved it. I think it's great. Derpy Gaming. This film was Seven meets Zodiac meets Taxi Driver just with Batman. Yeah. As soon as they arrest Ed, the Riddler, it's really fun because it reminded me of Seven when they make the arrest, when he gives himself up. But no heads in boxes this time. I actually had a theory that Selina's head would end up in a box, which would have really pissed people off, I think. But I think that would have been taking things too far, wouldn't it? But and I'll go back to Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. He was a lot better than I thought he'd be. Ryan Price, how you doing? But for tomorrow night, I'm super vexed. You're gonna love it. Bonesaw is coming. Love the chemistry between Batman, Selina, and Gordon. Yeah, it's great, especially Batman and Gordon. This partnership, you know, how they tell each other everything, how they're there together every step of the way. That's from the comics, and it's brilliant. Really is good. Legend CJ, so it's confirmed Falcone's gang killed the Waynes. I didn't get that bit. Was it confirmed? Was it? It's a suspicion, isn't it? At first, he thinks it's the other gangster, or kind of Falcone tells him it's the other gangster. But it does look like that actually Falcone did it. But he obviously got someone to do it. So who he got to do it, I think, may be revealed in the next movie. Because we know that Falcone didn't get his hands dirty and do it himself. I think that might be a shocker. Bonesaw is coming. Don't think it was actually confirmed. No, neither did I. But they kind of pretty much tried to say it was him. So it could be a twist in the next movie. Are they going to go with the graphic novel kind of source material with who did it? Or are they going to do a Batman 89 and change the narrative, which I'm more than okay with? Imagine if Falcone had something over Alfred and forced him to kill the Waynes. Imagine that. That would be sick. Bonesaw is coming. We'll pay attention when I watch the movie this Saturday again. Yeah, look, that's what happens when you watch films. Sometimes you just switch off quickly and you miss something. It happened to me with this very moment, actually. The Legend CJ was going to be mad if they killed Alfred off during the explosion. Yeah, that was a shocker. I thought, is he dead? Is he dead? Because the way they were acting, I'm so sorry, Mr. Wayne, and all that. But there was no way. You can't have this story without that character. He's the heart. Alfred is always the heart of this story. I mean, it would have been a great little shock, but it's a bit like killing Rita off in Dexter. It works as a shock, but then the show really missed her going forward, and it killed the show. Never kill the heart of a story. And Alfred was done very well. But he's different. This Alfred is a different Alfred. It's not Michael Caine. It's not the guy from Batman 89. This is a very different. They're going at this differently, but it's kind of a similar relationship. I'd expect in the sequel, if it's not an Arkham one, to see Bruce get more involved with obviously Wayne Enterprises and all that. I mean, a lot of people have discussed that it's mostly Batman in this movie and not Bruce Wayne. But why are we going to see a Batman movie for Batman? So it's a pretty cool thing to do. It's ballsy, but I like it. Children, can we all agree most comic accurately? Yeah, definitely. There's no question about it. It's for the fans. The Legend CJ, the Riddler cards, Easter eggs. First card, Court of Owls. Second, Hugo Strange. Third is Poison Ivy. Fourth is Mad Hatter. And fifth card is Scarface, the puppet. Wow. I didn't notice those kind of details, so that's great. Thank you, the Legend CJ. Ryan Price, do you think you want to see it for a third time? Oh, definitely. I want to keep on seeing it, but it's money. It's this vaccine passport situation. It's all a pain in the ass. If the cinema was just down the road, I'd literally go every day, but it's not. See, when I was in the UK, the cinema was right next to me. I should have stayed in the UK for longer, really, but I needed to get home. But you have to be inclined to enjoy this type of film. It is different. It isn't action-packed, but it didn't hurt the film for me because this is what he wanted to do. The Legend CJ, did you hear AMC over here in the States raise the prices to watch the Batman? Do you think it will affect the box office because of this? Well, it's very cheeky. It's wrong, but I think they raised it by $1 or so. So I shouldn't think that should be an issue. But they lost a lot of money during the pandemic and they're trying to make it back. Trill J, seeing it for a second time tomorrow. I'm too addicted, just like those drop heads. Yeah. Look, when you see a film like that, you want to keep on going back to see it. And it's that feeling when you come out of the cinema and you've seen something that makes an impression on you. It's such a great thing. It's not nice to spend money on a film that you didn't enjoy, is it? But the time for talking and marketing is over. The film's out tomorrow all over the world. And reactions will keep on pouring in. The Legend CJ, what was your favourite fight scene? Actually, I really enjoyed. Well, I mean, it's not like there's loads to pick from, but I still enjoyed in the early bit the whole, who are you supposed to be? I really like the brutality of that. I like it when the coppers surrounded him, when they arrested him. Trilja, yeah, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Go on then. Let us have it. Trilja, I think it will make 200 million opening weekend and 1 billion. I hope so. I really do. It's difficult to kind of tell with this kind of film. I mean, the Joker basically had no action in it, and that made 1 billion. Trilja, many won't love it, but the real Batman fans will. Oh, yeah. But maybe the rest of the audience will surprise us. But it definitely wasn't made for a mainstream audience in mind. It was made for the fans, the Batman fans, certainly. This was a film made by Stan for Stan. Simple as that. He managed to use his reputation to get in there and do whatever he wanted, which is great. I love the letter he wrote to theatre owners. That was so cool. The film really has a great balance to it, and I think that was a great thing. He nearly convinced Bruce that Maroney had something to do with the Wayne's death, though, didn't he? The Legend CJ, this movie will set high expectations for other CBM movies. Now we have to go back and watch other CBM movies that don't have great storytelling. Well, I mean, listen, I think you can have a mixture of different types. Marvel's great for people who enjoy Marvel. The DCEU is great for people who like that. And this is great for... But I don't think it's either one or the other. I don't think every comic book movie should be made like this. There should be a variety. Variety is the spice of life. Trill J, I want to skip to the sequel. I need more. Yeah. Well, luckily, we're getting the HBO Max shows to keep us busy. Hashlin me. I think the action in the Batman were meant to be a supporting element of the narrative aspect. So I necessarily had a good amount of fighting sequences. Yeah, I think it had enough. I mean, he does often punch people. They made him intimidating. He could fight, which was cool. Ryan Price, what do you think around the whole age rating aspect of the movie? Was it pushed as much as it could be for a PG-13 and 15 in the UK, or could they have got away with more? No, I think Matt's very experienced at pushing the lines of what you can do when you're doing a PG-13. The only thing the studio ever said to him was, this has to be PG-13. And he understood that. And I think it'd be great to see an R-rated Batman film one day, but this wasn't the right time to do it. And I think it was perfect because at the end of the day, what do you want Batman? How bloody do you need Batman to be? Bosa is coming. The year 2022 belongs to the Batman fans. 3 different Batman in 1 year. It can't get any better. DC fans are eating good. Yeah. I mean, Affleck, Keaton, Pattinson, what a year. It's amazing. If only Superman could get the same treatment. Trill J, it was, but I want more in the sequel because I've never seen Batman fight so well. Like, bruh, he was fucking those club goons up. He was, yeah. Oh, that was excellent in the club, wasn't it? I forgot about that. Trill J, you can feel Batman can turn it up when he wants in this film. Yeah. He's obviously totally in control. I got him, that crazy psychopath. Love it. I think the levity definitely came from Oz in this film, didn't it? And it wasn't purposeful comedy, but he was funny. Trilogy, I love the Batmobile too. Yeah, it's a great Batmobile. I'm not going to put it up there as my favourite Batmobile, but I really liked it, especially the blue fire that came out of the exhaust. Really cool. And I think that will evolve, obviously. This is a film. This is the beginning. Even though he's in year 2, this is really the beginning. The Legend CJ, my friend asked me, where was Colin Farrell? The makeup was amazing. And his acting, yeah, he was great. I mean, personally, I think he's doing a Robert De Niro impression, but it's still great. Clearly, that's the direction Matt wanted to go. Trilogy, when they left Oz handcuffed and drove off, yeah, that was great, wasn't it? The way he reacted to it was great. Yes, it's a really great version of Oswald Cobblepot. Really is. Probably in the auditions, it was the best impression of Robert De Niro won, really, wasn't it? I think if the film was made 20 years ago, Bob De Niro would have got that part. Definitely. No question. The Legend CJ, I like the fact Oz solved the riddle with his Spanish. Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? Yeah. And he was kind of mocking them for not knowing it. Yeah, that was a great touch, actually, wasn't it? So he's created some memorable characters here, or memorable versions of these iconic DC characters, which I like. Bit shocked that Falcone got killed off. That was a shock. But that means there's a fight to who's going to run the manor now, which is kind of exciting. Trilogy, I hope we see Batman in these series in a cameo. I want to see him beat Goons up and chase Oz again. Yeah, I think you may see him. I mean, for example, Gotham PD is year one. I think he will play some kind of part. I don't think this is a situation where you can say, oh, Batman, they kind of fooled him. He's contracted. It's like him being in the movie, but it's not his story, of course. The Legend CJ, I was surprised this movie had more humour than I thought. I mean, for example, like you've got a lot of cats. I thought that was really good and really funny. And I thought that they wouldn't go there. But yeah, there was a couple of funny moments, but they didn't need them there, but they put them there. That was good of Matt to do that. Some of these critics, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about some of these critics. They expected a different movie. I said to one of them, this is what you said about BVS. No, I had different, quirks with BVS. Well, the Legend CJ, the fun drive joke was funny, yeah. And I liked it. Alfred and, Bruce were working together, solving these things. So I know that they were saying that the relationship between Bruce and Alfred was cold at the beginning. I didn't feel that as much as they said it was going to be. I think people were a little bit concerned about that. True, Jay, the ending with him and Selina riding off was a fire as fuck. Yeah, that was great. I loved that. I love the fact that she wants him to go with her, and then the bat signal comes on, and she kind of knows this is him now. He's never going to leave Gotham. She says it's never going to change. But he's positive. He's saying, I believe it can. The Legend CJ, did you hear HBO Max is now doing another spin-off that will focus on Arkham Asylum? It was reported a couple of hours ago. Yes. But I think this is going to be the Gotham PD show, from the way I understand it. I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused about that, to be honest. But yeah, Arkham. Arkham needs to be represented, because I think Arkham will play a big part in the second movie. Because don't forget, the second movie in a trilogy is your Empire Strikes Back, your Dark Knight. So an Arkham Asylum movie would be perfect for that. I just want to see Batman trapped in Arkham Asylum, because I think it's awesome. But this is so smart what they're doing with HBO Max. It's the difference between Marvel, Disney Plus, and, you look at Peacemaker, a very good show, very adult. Iconic director, Matt Reeves, iconic director, doing spin-offs. I didn't really imagine this would be Matt Reeves' bag doing all these spin-offs, but clearly he's very interested in fleshing out this world, which is very good news. Trilogy, I think Bruce is just a grown man. He's focusing on his real job. That's why he's distant from Alfred. You can't tell you can tell he still loves him. Yep. It's like a parent still seeing that child as their baby. Yep. That is very true. The Legend CJ, Marvel Disney Plus shows are boring. Only good one was WandaVision. Yeah, Wanda was all right. Still not the best thing in the world, but it felt okay, didn't it? Bonesaw is coming, just like in Arkham Asylum. Would love to see Robert getting trapped in Arkham. Oh, be great. Be great. That's what I want. And I think this is why they're talking about Arkham now. And the way they use the Arkham name with the links with the Waynes, with Martha Wayne as well. I liked that revelation. That was so good. Because it's interesting, isn't it, when they said that Martha Wayne had issues with her mental health. Well, of course, in Flashpoint, Martha Wayne does become the Joker, doesn't she? If I'm right there. Bonesaw is coming. Yes, Bonesaw is coming after Bruce got killed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Ryan Price, Daredevil was about the only Marvel series I really enjoyed. Had a dark Batman feel to it, yeah. And now they're talking about making it PG, making it PG-13 on Disney Plus. What a shame! What a shame. Trilj, she definitely does become Joker in a Flashpoint. So I like what they did with Martha's backstory there. Very good. And, you know, that motivated Thomas Wayne to ask Falcone to do something that he never thought that Falcone would kill that person. He was naive. But I'm glad the revelations, I'm kind of mixed on this. I'm glad the revelations didn't make Thomas Wayne a bad person, but they were also teasing us, really, in a way, in the marketing, that there'll be big revelations about the Waynes, which there were. Trill J, Marvel actually does have good shows, just held a bit back by the whole kids element. Trill J, I'm really loving DC this year. It's great. It's great. I can't wait for Black Adam now as well. That's the next one we're going to get excited about. Black Adam, then The Flash, then Aquaman. So excited. And Atlas is going to be in Shazam Fury of the Gods, which I'm very excited about. Bonesaw is coming. Never expected Matt would do that with the character Martha in a positive way. Yes, it was amazing. It was amazing. The legend CJ was Riddler sent. The legend CJ was Riddler sent to Blackgate, Arkham. That's something I'm not sure about. I don't know where him and the Joker were, if that's the Joker. I know they're somewhere, but I'm not sure. It didn't really tell us, did it? If they're in Arkham, that could be setting the scene for the sequel, couldn't it? Children, hell fuck. It gave us the Snyderverse on HBO Max. Just hope that fandom isn't toxic anymore. It's the era of the internet. Toxicity is a given. Trill J, they were in Arkham. Oh, they were in Arkham, were they? That's cool. So that could be setting the scenes for the second movie, if my theory's right. So probably we'll get the second movie in 3 years. I mean, Matt Reeves deserves a rest. He's not going to get one, of course. I mean, it's that marketing tour they do. I mean, I just grit my teeth when I see it. It's the same thing again and again. How many times have we heard about the Zodiac Killer? You know, it must be fucking tiring to these people repeating everything they say. But it's part of the game, isn't it? Bonesaw is coming. I'm a Snyder fan myself, but I will never support cultists. No, nor will I. Nor will I. I'm a Snyder fan. I'm a Snyder fan of the DCEU. Can't wait for Rebel Moon. Trill J, hell, Matt Reeves deserves an award. I hope so. Look, I hope this film gets loved in the Oscars next year. The legend CJ, wait, so how many HBO spin-offs are we getting from him? Well, at the moment, it's just 2. They're the official ones. But he said during the marketing run that there's a lot more planned. So, interesting. Look, they're going to milk this thing dry. Yeah, at the moment, there's 2, Trill J, and that's correct, yes. But more are coming, more are coming. I mean, maybe he introduces Joker in his own show, I don't know. But, you know, look, this man has the freedom of Warner Brothers, and he's got a whole earth to himself to mold, which is very exciting. Also, Catwoman may be going to Blood Heaven. Yeah, Trill J, can you explain to me about Blood Heaven and what that is? Trill J, so Dick Grayson maybe. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. I'm not ruling anything out. Because I think that there will be a huge time jump, probably. I think these two spin-offs are going to be year 1 and year 0 probably, and then we'll get. Will he jump to year 3 or will he jump further than that? It's interesting, actually, isn't it? What will happen? The Legend CJ, do you think eventually they will do a Dick Grayson spin-off before he's introduced in the sequel movie? They could do that. It's more than likely, but I don't really know how Matt's feeling about the Bat family if he wants to develop it, because it's been developed in the DCEU for sure. Robin and Batwoman are there in the Batwoman movie, so that's already been built out. Trill Blood Heaven is where Nightwing is later on in the comics. That's right, yeah, I remember now. Thank you for that, yeah. So that could be interesting. Maybe she meets him there. But as I say, we don't know how big a time jump we're going to get. Trill no, I don't want the Bat family. You know what? I can do with it in the DCEU and not have it, but basically it's up to Matt. None of these things are deal breakers. Who he introduces, who he doesn't introduce. He's given us a great Batman, a great Rogues Gallery, a great Catwoman, a great Alfred. There's enough to play with in the meantime without overstuffing it even more. So I think what's been introduced in this film, that's what they're going to be dealing with going forward. The Legend CJ just want at least one Robin in this franchise. Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love that. I love Robin. Big fan, but who knows? This is a different type of universe. Trill although Batgirl might work well in this universe, imagine seeing her gritty in this universe. Yeah, very different one. Very different. I mean, you know who you could make Batwoman? The woman going for the senator role. You could make her Batwoman because she seemed very brave. I like how they represented her. So who knows? Batwoman deserves better than that CW show. Oh, you're talking about Batgirl, yeah. Trill you can do so much in this world. You can. You know, the world's his oyster. He can literally do whatever he wants and no one's going to stop him. That's what I like about it. Ryan Price, I hear there is a cryptic message at the credits. I will stay to the bitter end. If so, yeah, it's something very small, but it's worth staying for. But it's nothing. It's nothing to get overhyped about. So just not to get your hopes up. Trill she definitely does deserve better. Yeah, Batwoman. You read Batwoman, the proper version of Batwoman in the comics, not the ones they've done recently. Very good. And I do feel we could have a Batwoman in the Reeveverse and make it that senator, because I thought that would be a great thing for her. Bonesaw is coming. Blood Haven is a city in New Jersey between Gotham City and Atlantic City. When he struck out on his own, Nightwing used the city as his base of operations. Trill it's nothing overhyped, just telling, yeah, it isn't over. Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. But what I don't want to do is say there's this amazing post-credit scene when there's not much to it, basically. Because what happens with you when you've got a YouTube channel, whatever you say is examined. You said this once, you said that once. Remember when you said that? Remember when you said that? It's like people say stuff, you know. The Legend CJ, in the Halloween sequence in the beginning where everyone is wearing costumes, they cut out a scene where someone was dressed as Superman and Wonder Woman. Yes, well, we got some pics, didn't we, on location pics, and they clearly decided not to use it. But from the book they made, we know that LexCorp is a thing, and that the novelization and that Metropolis is a thing. It wouldn't surprise me if Lex Luthor gets introduced very soon. Trill fact, I watch all your Batman content. I'm very impressed. Thank you, Trill Thank you. I open my mouth and I go into overdrive and I hope for the best. But yeah, I've always been a big Batman fan. My favourite character is Superman, of course, but I've always liked Superman since the 1960s series. No, Batman, should I say. Great character. And what I like about Batman, you can do something like Batman 66. You can do the Keaton stuff. You can do the Val Kilmer stuff. You can go Nolan's way. And then you can do something like this, which is so fucking a polar opposite that I never saw coming, ever. until I knew he was doing it and I knew he'd do something. I knew he would never touch Affleck's stuff. I knew Affleck was never going to be his Batman, even when we didn't know for sure. I mean, I remember the early days he actually came out and said that the Batman wasn't part of the DCEU, that he had to change it because people started screaming at him. And he said, well, you know, it is part of the DC universe, but he was pretty honest there. The Legend CJ, if Lex Luthor exists, a Clark Kent must be out there. Yeah. I'm not sure in the comics when Superman becomes Superman. Is it Batman's year 1? Is it Batman's year 2? Is it Batman's year 3? That'd be an interesting thing to know as well. Trilogy, it'd be great to have Henry Cavill back. Yeah, hopefully he gets some cameos this year. I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Hopefully with Discovery Takeover, they deal with that situation. They have a lot to deal with. Trilogy, and yeah, Matt Reeves was so slick, took Batman right from Ben. Well, do you know what? What can I say? The man didn't listen. No, I don't think he's got anything against Ben. I just think he wanted to do his own thing. And the man's been very direct and honest about that. He didn't want to deal with the DCEU. He wanted to do his own stuff. Why would you want to take over somebody's shit? You know, especially if it's messy. So he didn't want to do that type of Batman. So he went with Patterson, and it's worked. How much it's worked, we'll have to see from the box office. Very interesting. We should be getting some Thursday night results very soon. Trilogy, I meant in a joking way. Yeah, I know, yeah. The Legend CJ, do you think eventually Pattinson will get recast in future movies if he doesn't want to continue? Great thing, this is a young Batman. Well, you could have a situation where he does the trilogy, then I think Matt will be staying for a long time with the property. But Rob looks like he wants to stay with him as well. So let's not wish, let's hope he stays for the foreseeable future. Trilogy, but yeah, definitely don't want the DCEU in this universe. Well, it's not possible, is it? I think it's pretty obvious this is its own universe. That's not going to happen. So the DCEU will do its thing. And it's a good thing. Trilogy, he said he wants to play it for a long time. Yeah. So it's all looking good. It's all roses at the moment. It's when the box office reality sets in. That's what you're going to see there. The beautiful thing is, really, you could just have this as a standalone or something that does a lot of things. So it's a bit like Star Wars A New Hope. It's done as a thing that can go on, but also Star Wars A New Hope is very self-contained. I always felt that was very clever. The Legend CJ, I think we have never had an actor and director who both are stands of a character. This is why the movie has so much passion. Yet, from the fans, from them too, it's very unique situation that you got Rob, who loves Batman to bits. You can just tell from what he says, and Matt as well. So, good times. Trilogy, fuck those critics that though like really low reviews because Batman isn't smiling. People getting mad because Bruce isn't a playboy. Like, come on, look, it's ridiculous. They expected something different, but you knew what you were going to get. The man told you what he was going to give you. There should be no misunderstandings here. The Legend CJ, previous actors would enjoy playing Batman, but never loved it. Yeah, I think, some people just see acting as a job. Some people just see it as a silly character in a costume. I don't, but some people do. I think Keaton loves Batman. I mean, to be playing Batman now that you're 70 after all these years is a sensational result for him. I think he's going to do a great job with it. I think he's really going to kill it. despite what the popular myth is. Oh dear. Been a long day, you know, long day. Children, crazy this movie comes out and I'm turning 20 this year. I'm in April. Pretty crazy, yeah. I'm turning 50 this year. Crazy, right? By the time all this superheroes, the future stuff that's being announced, I'll probably be dead. Trilogy, also to be getting the end to the new Halloween trilogy is crazy too. Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? They'll probably start another one. Trilogy, nah, you got years still low, hopefully. The Legend CJ, the Nolan fanboys are criticising this movie instead of enjoying it. Well, listen, Chris Nolan did a great job. It's done. It's over. That was Chris's decision. Enjoy those films. Enjoy those films. But people are intimidated that something's going to come and take over that legacy. And it's not a case of that. I mean, Nolan did an amazing job. And Matt did an amazing job with this film. And his plans sound very exciting. I don't think it's one thing or the other, but unfortunately, this is the world we live in. Trilogy can't compare to Nolan. This is a Gotham out of the comics. Yeah, you can't. You can't. You can't compare it with anything. If anything, you can only compare it to the Gotham TV series, as I said earlier, which kind of tried to do the same thing. I mean, that Gotham show was pretty good. I mean, Penguin and the Riddler kind of liking each other, which was pretty interesting. Hit me, hit me, hit me with your ribbon stick. The Legend CJ, do you think this Batman can beat Bane from The Dark Knight Rises in a fight? Oh, I don't. I mean, he's pretty tough. I think he'd maybe put a better fight on, put a better fight up, don't you? Trilogy, where they are wrong is trying to compare it anyway or low review to stop it from reaching great height. Listen, I mean, as I say, I've read some negative stuff. I've seen, blue ticks talking about it on Twitter. I'm stunned by some of their attitudes toward the film. Some saying it's not as clever as it thinks it is. I actually think it is. And it's just, listen, it's one man's vision. That's it. I did a video today, about will the ghost of the Dark Knight ever stop haunting Batman? It's a bit, and I said it's a bit like Superman the movie. Every time you do something Superman, that movie is kind of haunting the other creations because people just don't let it go. And this is the problem with the Dark Knight. It's been held up to such a high esteem that you don't compare the Dark Knight to the Batman. You can't do it. It's stupid. And Christopher Nolan wouldn't want anyone to do that. Christopher Nolan done something amazing. He did. I mean, Batman Begins is still one of my favorite Batman movies, even after seeing the Batman. And Tim Burton started the whole thing off. Without Tim, we wouldn't be here now. So, The Legend CJ, I think it's better than The Dark Knight. It's so different, though, The Legend CJ, isn't it? So different. I mean, I love The Dark Knight. I don't hold it to as high esteem as most people do. Look, the Batman is unique. It's entertaining. It's gripping. It's compelling. It's a really kind of take that nobody's seen before. and very brave with some of the things he did. To not have an end battle there is a very brave thing to do, because people would have been expecting that. Now, it didn't bother me at all. I liked the third act. I liked what they did. And it was shocking. The flood and everything was shocking. And I liked the fact that we didn't see the twist straight away with the flooding. That Batman was trying to figure out what this guy was fucking playing at. And it took a bit of time. So it built up a bit. And I like that. I like the fact that they're stuck in a room together and then the Riddler gets disappointed. The whole plan was to keep Batman safe with him. The Legend CJ, majority of people in stands are saying this is by far the best Batman movie. Trilogy, and then Matt Reeves came in and completed the character as a whole. Yeah, Matt Reeves clearly is a big reader of the early comics. He's done it. I mean, that's the historic thing for me, that he's gone really to the original stuff from the comics, and he's put it on the big screen. That's amazing. That's sensational. And Batman fans really appreciate that. I know that because I talk to Batman fans like yourselves and other Batman fans. So, look, it's gone down really, really well. And this is what I say about Batman versus Superman. It's a shame because it was put in a kind of franchise that needed to be the best and for everyone to love it. But ultimately, it doesn't have to be everyone's cup of tea. But Batman versus Superman is a very, very interesting take on Batman. Trilogy, this is Batman's best movie because it explains who he actually is in those comics. Bruce Wayne is a gothic billionaire who saw his parents die in front of him. Exactly. The Legend CJ, do you think the Arkham scene with Batman and Riddler was better than Bale's and Ledger's interrogation? That's an interesting one. I do like the one in the Batman, by the way, because it's interesting because he's like, we're the same, aren't we? And then Batman is literally cussing the shit out of him, and Riddler can't fucking believe what he's hearing. But which one's better? I do like the one with the Joker because it goes to the comics with that relationship and how obsessed the Joker is obsessed with Batman. So I do like it. I don't know which one I like more, I must admit. Trilogy, no it isn't. Trilogy, and I admit that. Both great scenes, by the way. But the one in The Dark Knight is very iconic because it is pulled out of that relationship between Batman and Joker. Don't talk like them. I mean, what Ledger did with that character is sensational, and I can't deny that. Because really, that's not, it's a different scene, the one in the Batman, isn't it? It will be a long time, I think, before The Dark Knight is not held up to such great esteem. It just captured people. People love it, and it's awesome. Trilogy, but that we got a comic head in Matt Reeves. Let's see what he does with his Joker and Batman. Yeah, exactly. Trilogy, I'm very excited. The Legend CJ, do you think Batman actually creates his villains or inspires them when they see a vigilante make his own rules? Well, in case of this film where he calls himself Vengeance, he inspires them, right? He inspired the Riddler and his army. They're there because of Batman not being there, but calling himself Vengeance. And it's great that he learns the lesson at the end of the film. Trilogy, yeah, he does. You know, if Superman never comes to Earth in Man of Steel, the Zod never comes to Earth and causes that destruction. So it's an interesting way, you know, it's an interesting conversation, isn't it? But I still think Gotham will be a fucked up city even without Batman. So and Bruce is just reacting to living in a shit city, and he does something about it. He's somewhat problematic because he's in his early days. True J, Batman inspires real people and make them want to be Batman in our world. So, of course, he inspires his villains. Exactly. Because a villain could see him as a villain. He's not a villain, but even sometimes I think in that bit when he kind of beats up those bad guys and the guy he saves says, "Please don't hurt me," which I thought was a really cool bit. Because you would be scared of him. He's just kicked the shit out of all those people, right? You're not automatically going to think that he's doing it for you. True, Jay. He fried that guy. I think when I go to bed tonight, I'm just going to play the soundtrack. Ryan Price, see my post 2139. I think you're going to have to write again what you told me because it means I have to scroll up and miss other comments. No, can't find anything. Trilja, I was watching the trailers every day ever since the teaser 2 years straight. Oh yeah, I mean, there's very interesting things, aren't they? Some of the marketing they've done, brilliant. What's going on here? The Legend CJ, did you see the Batman has the highest Rotten Tomato score from audiences for a CBM at 96%? That's very good. That's very encouraging. Trill J, late nights like a nocturnal animal. Crazy, yeah. We should be getting some box office results in the next couple of days. So I'll be reporting on that here and analysing it and seeing where we can go with this movie. So either I have to explain why the box office is slightly low, or I'll be excited because it's really high. The thing is with this film, it's attracted lots of different stands to it. Batman stands, Reeve stands, and Pattinson's had stands since Twilight. So it's interesting. The audience score was nice. Fuck those critics, though. Yeah, listen, most of them don't even care about this film. It's just another film to them. Luckily, well, it's not luck, but I'm happy the film was verified fresh. Around 86, 87% is pretty cool. So I think it's good. I think it's solid, and I'm happy with the critics' Rotten Tomato score. And I never thought that film was going to do higher because these people are used to watching the Avengers. The audience is always the most important thing. So we would have had a few more tonight, but because it's a spoiler chat, I think people have been put off, and that's cool. But I just wanted to have a little spoiler chat And I'm sure as people watch it over the weekend, more people will be coming in to chat with us about what they thought of this film, and I can't wait. So I'm going to give you another 5 minutes before I say goodnight. Trill-J, you can do so much with this Batman. It's like I want to see him get bigger and take on all his villains. Yeah, for sure. It's an evolving story, isn't it? It's, you know, so you start here and you evolve the character, you know, his rogues gallery, you know, Selina's story, his costume, his Batmobile. I think we've got a very exciting future with this franchise for sure. Just the beginning. But this could go anywhere now. I think it's actually quite unpredictable because this film was unpredictable. Who ever thought 5 years ago we'd get a Batman film, you know, of this style? The Legend CJ, what did you think was the most emotional part of the movie? I liked the bit in the hospital when Alfred was telling Bruce that his father was a good man. And I love the bit when they're holding hands. And I like the way that transfers it when the bat signal comes up as well. It's a pretty cool, a really emotional scene as well. I got pretty emotional when I saw that. I don't know about you guys. Children, I hope all the films have more than one villain like this one. I think that's the style we're going for sure. And it proves that it's not an overstuffed movie. A critic said that it was overstuffed. It wasn't. The term overstuffed is such a lazy thing that critics say, because there's more than one character in a film, right? Let's hope they never watch a Four Musketeers movie. The Legend CJ, how does it feel now after all those months waiting? You can now talk to us about it. Yeah, look, it's a fucking relief. I was thinking this. I was sitting in the cinema today and I was thinking, yeah, this is good. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do this spoiler chat. Not a spoiler review. I want to do a review, think about it, pre-record it. And I'll probably wait for another viewing to do that. But I want to get in there now in the next few days when it's all fresh with everyone watching it. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm happy and I am relieved. I am relieved because it was difficult. I was being asked a lot of questions and I certainly didn't want to answer them. But with not answering them, I was accused of lying about not watching the film. That's the fucking problem. That's put me off of seeing any other test screenings now because it's like you get treated like a fucking criminal for just watching something early. And I don't need it. I don't need that stress. I just want to chill out. You know, when I do my videos, I want to just be thinking about doing the videos and chatting to my fellow DC stands rather than all that nonsense. I remember doing a live when I was in England and some nutcase screaming at me that I'm a liar and I hadn't watched the film. And I just switched the live off. I just went off. I couldn't be bothered with it. But it's great. It's great that we're here. We can all enjoy the film now. We can all discuss it. Trill-J, me and my brother are going to see it with other people in a private screening. Can't wait till he see it. Wow, that's exciting, Trill-J. Very. Bit jealous of that. I think tomorrow we can all pre-order it on digital and on hard copy. So I always do this. I always do this with all these movies. So tomorrow, I'll actually check this after the video, but I'm going to be pre-ordering this movie on 4K as soon as possible on digital and physical media. I always do it. Trill-J, and I knew you watched it. You gave hints at the Joker. Thank you, Trill-J. It's always good for people to have faith in you. I mean, personally, if I didn't believe what someone was telling me on a YouTube channel, I'd just go away from that YouTube channel. I wouldn't abuse that person. What's the point? What are you going to get out of it? It doesn't change anything. But anyway, people like to... And maybe those people haven't got a very good life, and maybe they want to take out their frustration from their own life at people. So if I can make people feel better by having a go at me, you know, why not? Another couple of minutes, everyone, before I sign off. It's been a long old day, emotionally draining. But it's fun talking to you guys about it. It's always good to be able to talk about these films because it's so exciting. Because a DC film is a huge thing for me. Just to watch it, to discuss it, to get the hype with the other fans. It's been a big thing for me since I was a young kid and I saw Superman 4: The Quest for Peace in cinemas. And although that's not the greatest film in the world, I still enjoy sitting in the cinema watching a Superman movie. And I always feel that a DC movie coming out is the most exciting thing ever. And this year we've got another 3 movies coming out. I mean, what a great year. Right, everyone, we're going to wrap up now. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Isaac makes edits. Holy crap, you're still love. Oh, you're still alive. I'm about to sign off now, my friend. It's been a great chat. I've really enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please let everyone know about the channel. I will be back tomorrow with a pre-recorded edition of the DCEU Daily with all your DC updates, including more chat about the Batman. You never know, I might squeeze in a pre-recorded spoiler review tomorrow. But tomorrow night, we can do this all over again. Same place, same Bat channel. So until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. It's great. The Batman is awesome. We can be proud of the latest DC live-action movie. Until tomorrow, I'll see you again soon. Ryan Price, I did repost at 21:52. Think you missed it again, did I? Oh, there you go. Ryan Price, Spanish for a winged rat. Go to website. And it's a Riddler puzzle. Pretty cool. Wow, Ryan, thanks for that. So anyway, everyone, I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.